Inhumans, why aren't we seeing them more often? Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about Inhumans, get really deep into more into the faction, what they play, how they play. But before we do that, let's pay some bills. Hit that like, subscribe, notification button. It really does help the channel grow. And I'd like to thank everybody who's done so already. Also, if you like what we do here and want to support us on any way you can, we do have a membership. Just go in, click the membership video in the bottom in the link here. It does give you information. We'll go over a little bit more than what I'm going to now. But you do have an opportunity to win some billboards, win some other cool prizes. But check it out. And we did give props to Kyle. This is the last time we're going to see Kyle's billboard on the channel for a little bit. The new winner is Dragma. If you are watching, if you do watch these, contact me. We can get your billboard all set up and ready to go. Hopefully I hear from you soon. I know you're a Warhammer player, but maybe you play some MCP and get a hold of this. But we want to thank everybody and thank you for even thinking about being a subscriber. All the bills are being paid. Let's get into what we're going to really talk about, and that's the Inhumans. Little MCP stuff. They'll take a break from 40K episodes. We're here with my buddy Kurt, who actually has been since we've been playing. He's been on the Inhumans train.
Yep, and then there's reasons for it, yeah. But not so much the lore. I don't really know the lore, which I think you're going to talk about here.
So we do. So narratively wise, guys, I'm a big comic book guy. I mean, I've had pictures when I was a little kid, and I'm an old man now, but a little kid just reading comics.
Me too. But I mean, but I haven't kept up like you into my adult years. Yeah, so I still have all my whole collection.
First appearance, I'll put them on the screen. First appearance, Fantastic Four number 45. I believe that was in 1965. They debuted. Then in 1970, they premiered in something called Amazing Adventures: The Inhumans and Black Widow, which was actually pretty cool. I did not know about that one. Then they in 1975, their first solo comic, 12-issue run, Inhumans, pretty cool looking cover. And then in 1998, which is probably one of my favorite times of the Marvel Knights, they were one of the original Marvel Knight titles, along with Daredevil, Black Panther, and Punisher, which.
Who else was in that? That was Black Bolt and Medusa.
That was all the Inhumans. Yeah,
all of them. Okay.
Yeah, so that was Joe Quesada, and that's a whole other video. I'm not going to get into. We'll talk about comics in another video, but so that's kind of the history. So they're not a new faction. They've been around for a long time. I know the show wasn't great, but hey, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, I remember recently like watching a YouTube video about them, and I never realized they were that far back in the 60s. You said,
yeah,
right?
65,
it's crazy.
66, something.
I mean, even though I don't know anything about them that as much as like you do, but
right. But believe it or not, there's again, we're going to go off flow track here, but believe it or not, some of these characters that are being in the MCU and in the game have been around for a long time. Some of these characters that are popping up on Disney Plus and all that stuff. These characters have been in the comics. They're not just making these characters up. No, look, they are coming up with some new characters like Miss Marvel, which isn't human.
Like Gwenpool and Squirrel Girl are newer.
Yeah, there are newer, but a lot of these older characters like Inhumans have been around for a long time. So with all that, going down the rabbit hole of comic books, we could do a whole new show on that. Let's talk about Inhumans. Kurt, you guys all know Kurt. He's been on the channel a bunch of times. This is his faction, and this guy's been telling me Inhumans are good, or playable. I shouldn't say they're good, but they're playable. Big fan of Black Bolt. Then Black Bolt got his card. Once Black Bolt got his card,
I was all on.
This dude texted me the day it happened. Like, dude, you see Black Bolt's leadership? I think we filmed the bat rep the next day.
Yeah, and I brought him, right?
Yeah. And
I won.
You did win. Yeah. And Black Bolt. So let's dive into the characters real quick. We're not going to cover every character. We're going to cover some
maybe briefly, but yeah, there's not a lot.
So Black Bolt, leadership, new, old. What was it from the old card to the new card?
I don't think anything changed on leadership. That's
what changed on his new card.
The bodyguard.
Okay.
He lost the ability to pay to add more dice, which they fixed by bumping up his builder.
Right.
And then what else did he get? He got focus power, which gives him additional power, which was really, really helpful for him, I think.
So,
and then the whisper went up one dice on the backside.
And whisper, great. Oh, so good.
If you can get it off, and unless you play a guy like I played a couple weeks ago, who had Gwen Stacy, or what's her name?
Ghost Spider,
and she pulled out of my beam. I'm like, oh, ruined my day. But that only happened once.
Yeah. So
if you can get two people with that beam, it's gonna wreck somebody's day.
So Tommy, Black Bolt, man, tell me about the characters. What do you like about him? What do you don't like? We're not gonna go through everybody, but let's just talk about Black Bolt.
I love his energy builder. I mean, it's usually one of the weakest dice pools on everybody's card. Mm-hmm. Usually, not all the time,
right?
But it's really good against, it's usually the weakest dice. So I think it hits harder because, like, we played Ulick today.
Yeah, that's the energy bolt, right?
Yeah, the energy bolt. And like I played Ulick today. I know you don't want to talk about any other characters, but he has a physical one, and 6 dice just doesn't get through like an energy does on most normal characters, right?
So guys, so if we have it, if you reading it off the card after this attack is resolved, the character gains power. We already know that. It does have a pierce, but it's a range 4.
The pierce too, yeah.
Yeah, it's range 4, and it's 6 dice. So it's actually pretty. Being range 4 is actually pretty nice.
Yeah,
at a 6 dice.
Like unless it's against your stealth team.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. The Master Punch is really good too because you pay 3 power, you get a throw. Basically, he's just push him a power with the leadership, and he's able to Master Punch right away.
Actually, at 3 power, that's not bad.
No, and he gets 2, and he just needs to be close to somebody to get that power, and he can do it if he needs to.
Right. Let's talk about the King of the Inhumans.
The leadership, it's fantastic. Really I think it's the main. I mean, me saying that I don't really know these guys. The reason that brought me to these guys, the leadership is just phenomenal. It's R&D every turn, and I mean, I know you can't like spread 5 out like that card,
right?
But every single turn. It doesn't even have to be the person that's, up.
Right.
You can pass it between anybody.
So, guys, I'm going to read it off real quick. You're going to, with me, my old man glasses on. It's there in each of your turns. One allied character may spend a power, and then if it does, it can choose a character within 3, and that chosen character gains a power. That's every character turn. So you can pass if you have 5 guys in your roster on the table, you can legitimately pass 5 power in that entire round.
Yep, as long as you're within 3, right?
As long as you're within 3, that's what based on that card is how it's worded.
I mean the really addition. I mean the leadership's fantastic. I mean there's not much more to say. If you really want because this faction only has 8 characters in it, so you can unlock. You have to automatically splash 2 characters in this team to make a 10-man roster. So you can unlock certain characters that just have fantastic abilities but can't seem to generate power, or just characters that do really good things with power.
Exactly.
I mean, a lot of characters do, but this unlocks almost anything.
So we'll move on to Medusa. Her wife.
I do want to touch on one more thing. The new bodyguard is just. I mean, I think we were talking about the reason why they added the bodyguard. And I'm sure people that play this game a lot know, but people that don't, the bodyguard, nobody wanted to flip him because on the backside he gets his whisper, which he opens his mouth and just blows people off the table. So with bodyguard now, he could just pay 1 power and bodyguard everybody around him, and then eventually get flipped. But he does have the dice manipulation thing on his defense. He could pay 2 and add 2 more dice. So, I mean, and the other thing that got bumped up was his Mystic defense went up 1 dice as well. That was the way to take him down too at the time. Now he's so much better.
Yeah, I mean, you really, in my opinion, and I think you would share this opinion, you don't want to flip him because once you flip him, he's like old Captain America, where once you flip him, he saved on blanks. Now, in him, once you flip him, he gets the opportunity to get that whisper off, and the ability and whisper is only 6 power. 10 dice, beam 4, so it's pretty good.
And
it's stagger.
The other thing is you got 2 characters on this team that can move you around. You got Medusa and Lockjaw. They can line him up for a beam like for the next turn, and there's not much you can do about it once you're in it. I mean, unless you got Ghost Spider.
And
there's other characters.
And you're absolutely right. And we'll talk a little bit when we get to combos and stuff like that. So let's talk about Medusa. What do you think Medusa does really well.
I mean, the way she moves people around, she can throw. I mean, the movement and throws are probably the best thing in the game. Moving your other character up and then just throwing somebody off the point. Even if you just double move her and throw somebody off the point and take a point, totally worth it. I mean, I know a lot of people use that strategy, but she's good at it. And then add some damage on it. I mean, the other thing we didn't talk about, at least the four, no, I mean, Miss Marvel has it too, but the 4 core characters of this team and Miss Marvel, they have the reroll mechanic on all of their cards, which is another thing that's just phenomenal. This character may reroll 1 die in its attack or defense, not dodges, so that they lack that. But all the 4 core characters in Miss Marvel, they can reroll their dices, which makes it even more devastating on defense and attack.
I'll put Medusa's card up on the screen next, and Medusa with her braided bash, actually really good. Has a push on that, size 3 or less.
The flurry is awesome. It doesn't always pop, but I mean, she's got the push and the flurry, so she could do a double attack with you if she gets her trigger.
Split ends, another nice. Go ahead, Kurt. You can talk about split ends.
Split ends is good. We were just talking about that in your team.
Exactly.
Being within 2 and doing an area attack, and if you did it on 2 or 3 people, but yeah, split ends is good. I think you're not going to use it all the time.
It's situational. I think
you use it at the end of the game or something like that if you get the power for it. I mean,
the hair flip. I mean, just throwing stuff.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, just throwing stuff once per turn is pretty good. Royal Decree, player within 3.
Yeah, she has the living strands, which is, I think, the only character in the game that you can't go over top of her. You can't even play
Valkyrie or
no, I don't think so.
Valkyrie or one of the. I thought you couldn't. One of those.
There's somebody else that you can't lay your movement tool over.
I think it's an Asgardian.
Really, I don't even remember that.
I can't remember one of them. Maybe I missed.
Let us know if there was another character. I thought she was unique to that, but I could be wrong.
Living strands, really.
Yeah, really. Enemy characters cannot modify or change attack dice when targeting this character with attacks. Yeah, that makes her pretty strong. I mean, she's only got 3s across the board, but she's got a reroll and that. So that's really good.
Yeah, so Medusa, again, really good. Crystal.
I mean, the only thing that I would point out, I mean, I think a lot of people are bringing her no matter what when you're playing them. It's just really hard with a 5 and a 4. Sometimes it's hard to make that work.
Yeah, depending on the threat.
Because if you want to have a wider team, the good thing is they got a lot of decent 3s on their team too. So
Crystal, let's talk about Crystal. I'll put her card on the board and let you see what Kurt. What do you think about Crystal?
Crystal, I mean, the thing I'm bringing her every time, even if Medusa's not coming. She's always in my list. To me, I think she's a mainstay. She's a bit of a glass cannon. I will say that. But
what are some of her abilities?
But the abilities that she can do, she's got 4 different attacks. 2 physical, 2 energy. One can put slow on you, 1 can incinerate you, 1 can push you, and 1 can stun you. Push and incinerate and slow alone and stun, all really good effects. And then if you get her spender off, I call it her spender, but it's really her superpower. It's called Elemental Onslaught. You can use 3 different attacks if you get 4 power on her. I only get it off about once a game usually because I'm using her more as a battery in my team. The way I use her, I grab extracts with her and pull back with her, and then just unless like on C's and E's, I like her a little bit more because she's got her beam, which is the Incinerate beam. It's the Volcanic Surge. Mm-hmm. It's really good. I don't know. She's a long mover. I mean, a lot of people like long movers. She's a 3 threat. She's lower cost. She fits in this team really well.
With that elemental, that can be devastating.
Yeah, you've seen it, right? I mean, the first time I played you, I remember I got it off, and then I deleted like a few characters off. I think dazed them, not deleted. But
Lockjaw. Talk about. Let me put Lockjaw's card up.
Lockjaw, yeah. I mean,
take a look at.
I don't always use them. I do like him. I think he's cool.
Just point out some of the highlights. We got the card on the screen. So
yeah. I mean, the low lights are his attack. That's like the worst thing about his card. Right. You're not using him for his attack. He does give out bleed on it, but I mean, if you start within 2 of them, he gets 3 power. So he starts off with 1, so I have 4, which unlocks all of his abilities at that point. I mean, he can make people roll more. I think it's more dice against opponents. You pick a character, and then you can.
What's the name of it?
That one is called Interdimensional Bloodhound.
Okay.
Choose an enemy character. Allied characters roll 1 additional attack. So the whole round, like you really want to take somebody down,
right?
And he's not near anybody, like to move him, or doesn't need to be moved. You're spending on that if he's got that power.
Right.
you got to be within 2 to hit, probably for him to be juiced up like that. But then you also got teleport, which is probably his best thing. It's 2 power. You're within 3, you get to move him 3. Yeah. That's super strong. I mean, I know there's other characters do it, but for a 3 threat, it's pretty good.
And the fact that he gets a lot of power. That we're going to talk about a combo that I think a good combo with him in Black Bolt, but we'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's a battery too, so you're going to be using his power for other characters too.
So let's touch on Miss Marvel. I'll put her card on the screen.
Yeah,
she's decent. I think she's decent. I think she gets a lot of hate.
She moves really fast if you can get the power on her with her Embiggen.
Right.
I mean, 3 power, but I mean, a lot of times it's hard to get her that power because you usually want to pass power to Black Bolt early, Medusa early, Crystal. I don't really pass power to Crystal, but
she does have, as you guys can see, she does have some rerolls. She does have some modifying dice. She does have some long stuff. Rerolls being in her. In
Embiggen form, right?
Yeah, exactly. So there are things that she does well. I just think that there's other things in this lineup that could do a little bit better and do more of what she at a better value than she does at her 3 threat.
She could move really far though if you wanted to.
Yeah, but and matter of fact, so does our next guy who's Quicksilver.
Yeah, Quicksilver.
Quicksilver does move. I'll put his card up on the screen. And basically, Quicksilver has the ability to move around. Go ahead, Kurt.
Yeah, even though he does lose the ability to reroll 1 die like the rest of the 5 that we just spoke about, he does still have that mechanic on defense, right? Isn't that what it is? He gets to reroll 2 dice.
Yeah, supersonic.
Yeah, he can't do anything with his on the offensive side of the board with rerolls, but he's fast. I mean,
you love him. He's super fast.
You could bring his card. Can I borrow that if you really need to get a steal in this team? He's your steal mechanic. I mean, I know you can only do it once. It's a little bit tricky card. You do have to do damage to do it.
Right.
But usually in 2 attacks, if you're close enough, you can get it. If you can double tap somebody, you should be dealing at least 1 damage, enough to get that steal off. Hopefully. But then I don't know. Are you running away at that point? Probably not. You might get. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that a 3 threat that is a long mover. To me, and you guys seen me play all the time. You see me and Kurt bat rep. I think you have to have a long mover in there. I just think if you don't have a long mover, then you're handicapping yourself in some degree, because I think at some point you have to jump out early and get an objective. And Quicksilver lets you reroll 2 defensive dice and move back, if depending on what you got going on. So next guy, go ahead. Did you have anything to add about?
I was just going to say that the reason I like him and Crystal in a list, especially when you got centerline extracts, is you got an eyes play on both sides because of the power passing of the leadership. So if it doesn't go your way, if you don't have priority and you planning on getting it with Quicksilver and somebody takes it, Crystal's on the other side ready to grab it. So
exactly,
and then still get away safely with the eyes play. But I mean,
the next card we'll put up is Beast. We're just going to touch briefly on these guys because they're not really Inhumans, but they are in the Human faction.
Yeah.
So you guys see the card up. Beast is on your screen.
He was like the liaison to them or something.
Exactly.
I heard.
Again, and I think this is where Miss Marvel struggles at, because Quicksilver and Beast do what she does, and I think Quicksilver, and they do it a little bit better. But go ahead, let's touch.
The best thing on his card, bar none, is base art instincts. I mean, he can run up and just throw somebody off a point. A size 2 character.
Right.
I mean, that's what he's doing basically. He's a little bit squishy with his 2 energy. So if you're going against a lot of energy, be mindful who's coming at him.
Right.
If there's an energy guy coming at you, I mean, it doesn't mean instant death or days or KO or anything. Right. But you can see, he's a little squishier in that aspect.
You can see like disconcerting. Yeah, provocative. You get power for skulls. You get animalistic free style. I mean, so he's power hungry on some stuff, but he also can move people around off the point, which can be very important.
Yeah, and then the one thing that's a little bit hard with him is acrobatic strike. Like, there's no May on his. He moves within 1, just like Logan. There's a lot of other characters that do it now, but he was one of the first, and he was always hard for me to like. How do you do this? But he's good if you want to get on a point. If you want to get on a secure, that's what you're using that for, to try to get on a secure, probably, right?
Exactly, and throwing these off.
Yeah, and then throw them off. Yeah.
So the next we'll put Roman the Accuser. Actually got a brand new card. We'll throw him up on the screen. You can see him. So Roman Accuser, tell me about this
only
guy.
thing he changed is his health went up 1 on each side. So he went from 6-6 to 7-7. Makes him super strong now. I mean, he's got the ability to bring the Power Stone. Power is always nice in this team, right? Because you can pass it around. I mean, I don't know. I haven't ran him with the Power Stone yet. I usually don't. But if I did...
Which makes him a 5 threat.
Which is tough. Because, I mean, it's still cool. I mean, the fact that he's got, Judgment.
Right.
He's the only other character other than one of our favorite characters, Scarlet Witch, right?
Exactly.
That has Judgment. Love Judgment.
Universal weapon. I mean, getting a push off the size 4 is pretty good.
His two 0 cost actions, strike and universal weapon. One's got to push, one's got to throw. It's so awesome.
It is good, and it's not just size 3; it's size 4.
Size 4 exactly. Less. Yeah, he's a big boy. So it's
actually pretty good.
And then the Kree Justice, it's pretty good. I mean, it gives off stun and stagger automatically, and you can't go wrong with that. And then the accuser is like just phenomenal. If you take him out, he's hitting you back. He's doing it for free.
He's doing it for free.
He's doing it for free. Yeah. So you take him out, he's gonna crack back at you.
So you can see why
twice a game.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see why as we're talking, as we're going over some of these characters, you can see why some of these characters are hard to work into a list.
Yeah.
Quicksilver, and just off the bat, I think that if you just go with the 5 Inhumans, which you're almost at a 20 threat there anyway.
Yeah.
That it's pretty solid.
It's
pretty solid. So. With that being said, let's talk a little bit about how they play. I mean, we talked briefly on some of the characters, but how do they play? How do you feel like the best way that you play them?
Yeah, I mean, and we're gonna have to get into a little bit of splash talk, but the way I like to play them, we'll go into like even map style because not everybody loves it, but I love beams.
Right.
Beams are awesome, and Whisper is a beam.
But dude, anytime
Crystal's got a beam.
Anytime you can hit 2 or 3 more characters in one activation, it's really good.
Yeah, it's fun. That's
really
why you're rolling more dice.
Exactly.
And then the Whisper, you're staggering people.
Right. Exactly.
Stuff. You're probably only getting it off once or twice, but it's so fun to do.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm asking in the play style is, you're playing on smaller maps? You're playing on maps that could be lined.
Yeah, I like C's and E's. Even though like Demons burns you, but
C's and E's are maps that are basically 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yep, center line and the ones on the middle line. Yep. So you're going straight up the middle. I like to fight up the middle with this team. I just do. I think their strongest suit to me is that way.
I agree.
I'm sure there's better there's good counters against that too, but I think it's their best play in my opinion. That's the way I like to play.
So that's that play. I agree. I don't know if they play and this is me just talking, just looking over the cards, but I don't play this faction at all. Actually, this is just me looking.
You're only familiar with them through me. I think.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that they can play a wide game, but I don't think their wide game is effective because you're eliminating some of the strength that they do.
It's not terrible because you got the 2 long removers, but.
Yeah, but
they're both glass cannons. That's
exactly.
The problem.
They're not. It's not like a Black Cat or something else where you're going to be able to modify dice.
Well, he does. They all do. They all.
Yeah,
do.
I guess they do a little bit.
They do because of their one. They only get 1, but yeah. I mean, they're not getting stealth. They're not getting.
But I agree with you. I think the strength of it is right up the middle because of the beam attacks. So that's going to lead us. We talked a little bit about playstyle and actually Crystal and So here, let's do this because we talked about a little bit. The 3 beams, the 3 the what are they?
It's Gamma, Intrusions, and Demons Downtown.
Yeah,
the 3 I'm talking about. Gamma and Intrusions go straight up the middle. Demons Downtown. I think Gamma and Demons go up the middle, and then the Intrusions goes down.
Right, and the portals, whatever the portal.
Yeah, that's the portal one. Yeah, Intrusions. Yeah, whatever.
So that's a good that's a strong play style. So when your opponent does play a wide list, and we're going to get into pros and cons and maybe splashing a little bit here in a minute. But when you play a wide list, when someone goes wide and you play those big maps that I like to run, those D's and C's and stuff. When you play those maps, what then do Inhumans? What are they lacking? What do they do well? Can they play that style of game?
They can.
Can they play it effectively, or are they? Or do you want to? So we're kind of giving a little bit of in my opinion,
the cons here.
we're doing pros and cons as we're talking about playstyle, but do they play that list, and how well can they play that list? Now obviously, we're not going to compare it to something else like Web Warriors.
Yeah.
But how well can they play a wide list?
I don't think they're terrible. They're not the best. They're not the worst at this.
So they're about average.
Like I think the problem with the other reason I like not going so wide is that like, you're taking the ability to pass power around. Right. If somebody's way over on the diamond shaped map, you got 2 characters over here, one in the back, one over there. You might not have a character within 3.
Exactly.
And then you're not going to be able to pass power to do the things you want to do, and that's what really unlocks this leadership, is being able to pass power around and do whatever you want. And I
think that's the strength and weaknesses.
Yeah,
I think the strength is.
I mean, but you got to be prepared for that, because you're not always going to win the priority role, and if you don't get it, I mean, I'm always picking secures for me at least, because I like those maps. I want to be able to. I want you to come to my town and not
for sure.
But you got to be ready for it, because it's going to happen. You're not always going to win. So, I mean, I think at that point you're gonna want to probably go wider. You're not gonna. You might not bring Medusa in that. I mean, Medusa might want to bring her, because she's got that movement.
Yeah, because she's only a 4th threat.
Yeah, she's gonna move. But I mean, you're already talking about 9.
And obviously, guys, just like what I talked about the defenders list, obviously there's some. It depends on what you're playing, right? This is going to change depending on the threat that we have to deal with, and the tactics card, or the maps that we have to play on. I just, and this is my personal opinion, and you may agree or disagree. I think the humans want to play short. They want to play everything tall. I don't want to say tall, but they want to play short. They want to play a compact game. And I think if you're playing in the humans, I agree with Kurt 100%. I think that you have to play those maps that are literally right on the center, being secures, right? Yeah, being the secures right on the center.
And just hope for a favorable extract grab, because if you do win the priority, that's what I'm picking, at least me.
No, I agree with that. I think that's the way they play.
And then just hope for something decent at that scrap. Like if you could get hammer or something, that'd be great. Because then you want to put one on Black Bolt, so you could just throw 7 dice, energy attacks at the beginning. And
exactly. Yeah, I think that you want to play Medusa. I think you want to play Ronan. I think you want to play Black Bolt. I think these are guys that.
Yeah, it really depends what you do. Like, and then
these are strong guys.
Yeah, and we never even got into the splashability thing, where we'll get to in a minute. But
that's what I was going to go next. Is and because there's only 8, which is a pro and a con for that matter. Because
it is cool for the fact that I said earlier, it forces you to pick 2 characters that you want to unlock, and then the character that I like the most, we'll just get into it now.
Yeah,
the one guy I'm never taking him out of this list unless somebody trumps him at some point later. But there's nobody better than him right now. Is Crimson Dynamo. And I don't know a lot of people know that, but if you don't know that, he's auto include on this list, especially if you get if you get the secures you want.
Yeah, why though? Tell everybody why.
Because of dice manipulation. You just go back and watch the game that I played against you. I mean, he is never power starved, because if he can line up a beam against 2 people, which you almost always are.
Wait, stop for a second. All right, so dice manipulation. So is he allowing you to reroll dice? Is he allowing you to pay power?
He's paying 2 power to make you reroll 2 of the dice that may affect. If you're hitting your wilds, he can take those off the board. You experienced that in that game where I played against you.
Not everybody knows.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I don't have his card either, but I think I know he's got the propulsion thrusters, which makes him move 2, which is extra movement. He's a short mover, but he's got a medium base. He's pretty good at getting around the table as well. So that helps him set up beams.
Right, and the big. So what Kurt was saying earlier, and I want to touch on this because I think this is important. I think this is important with splashing Crimson Dynamo in this. And like we're talking about, we're not going to go crazy because you can splash anybody you like into this list that you feel fits your play style. In Kurt's case, he fits your beam idea.
But mind you, if I don't get my priorities and it's wide, I'm not bringing him at all. Right. I'm not bringing him. He's not coming.
The biggest thing too, and this does happen, and I've seen, and again, this is really good, is the manipulating of the dice. Paying 2 power, making me roll power, and then you touched on it briefly, was you can stop my triggers.
Yeah.
Which did.
Yeah, a lot. He's awesome at that. I mean, I don't really want to get into him too deep, but I think he's an integral part of this list. If you're going to do what I'm doing, at least if you're going to try out what I'm doing by going up the middle secures.
Exactly, and that was the other thing, dude. Just like you said,
he's replacing Medusa at that point for me.
The going up the middle, he has to be within range. and he stays within range because you're up the middle.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing, like I said too, if you can get double beams off on 2 characters,
right.
He gets 1 power each time he gets an attack automatically. Now he doesn't have to deal damage, so he's getting 4 power if he can get 2 beams off on 2 characters. Right. And that's a power battery for not only re-rolling other enemy dice.
Right.
It's also power. If he's got too much, you can always pass it back. I mean, you probably want to keep him fueled for this because I think he's awesome at doing that. Plus, you want to have him be able to do his propulsion thrusters to line up the beams. Right. Which, yeah, I think to me he should be an Inhuman, but I know he's not. He's a winter guard.
So we could talk about other characters who splash in and out of that.
I mean, the only one I'll just mention, just because I'll just say briefly. I'm not even going to get into why or anything. I bring Ghost Rider, Cosmic Ghost Rider, just for the big boy meta stuff. I just bring him. That's it. That's it. I'm not going to. You could throw in any. You could splash the taste there.
Exactly.
You could throw Hulk in or anybody, whatever.
So let's talk about some combos and we're still talking about playstyles and stuff, but there's some combos out there that these guys, and we touched a little bit on it when we're getting into the characters, like bringing Crystal and Quicksilver for the reasons why you said. And go ahead. Why do we bring Quicksilver and Crystal at the same time? They have cards.
We talked about the eyes play, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's the best.
The eyes play are just maps wide.
Yeah, they're extract grabbers, right? Yeah. They're the ones that are going to hold it. I mean, even though they are glass cannons, you're using that eyes so they get back and they're not getting attacked. Right. Even better idea, put them close. Once you get that eyes play, put them next to Black Bolt. Black Bolt can bodyguard on until he gets flipped. Right. And then by then you probably scored at least 2 points by then, I would think. With that extract, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If as long as Black Bolt only needs 1 power to do that bodyguard. And I found that very effective. Right. There's been times where I want him to get him flipped, and he's bodyguarding so well he's not even getting flipped, and he never gets to his whisper. I mean, he gets his whisper so late that he's still good even without the whisper. But it's just that's cherry on top when he flips.
So what combo do you favor in
this faction?
Yeah, like what do you really try to set up? Now everybody who is at the shop and everybody who plays against Kurt, you're about to find out. He's going to tell you his weakness.
I don't. I mean, like I said, I basically gave it away. I like beaming people. Right, I mean, if you even go back to the first game,
excuse me.
Yeah, if you even go back to the first game that me and you played, which I played Inhumans,
right?
I was trying to. I created a whole list of just beamers. Like I had War Machine. He's an excellent battery, just his spender stinks.
You were saying about the beamers.
All right. Yeah, I even created a beam team specifically when I first. I have it on like in my Cerebro right now. Like I still have it in there. I don't use it as much because I'm more trying to use the actual characters and the affiliation and try to make them work. But you could create a whole beam team with the thing I'm saying. I mean, because the ultimate beamer is Black Bolt on this flip side. Realistically, you're probably going to get it off once or twice, but it's so fun.
I think so. Personally, we were talking a little bit off camera about this when you came over. I think there's a combination with Lockjaw and Black Bolt that's insane, and until you flip Black, you can literally make Black Bolt untargetable because no one wants to flip him. Because if you give so much power and you're flipping him, and people are seeing how much power he can get. So guys, what was I going to say? Oh, so real quick, I want to touch on this because I know that we're talking about this list, and we talked a little bit about splashing. The same thing I talked about on my defenders list, on my defenders video, and in my Death Guard stuff. If you watch the 40K stuff, is we always do mono stuff, meaning that we're only going to do the faction that we're talking about. We can definitely, for sure, include other things because we only need 51% of the Inhumans to be Inhumans to get their reroll. So that's why we're not getting into a bunch of characters that tie in with this faction. We just touched a little bit on it because there's only eight Inhumans left. So I just want to make sure we're pretty clear on that. And I apologize because I'm just getting over a sickness. So I'm past the contagion range, which is why Kurt is here sitting on my couch.
I'm not that worried about it anyway.
But if I lose my throat or my voice is what it is. But the combo that I'm talking about is real quick before
you brought this up and it's pretty good. I don't know. I got to see it. I'm done on the table before I can even because it's hard. It's the fact that you can pass power every single turn
is important.
And I know what you're going to say. So basically, you're setting this up as you keep Lockjaw and him together.
Yes,
like absolutely. The whole game.
Lockjaw has to be within.
He's going to be moving him around.
Let's start it off in the beginning, right? Lockjaw has to be within 2 in the power-up phase.
No, just when he activates to get he'll get 3 extra power. He gets 1 to start off, and then if he's within 2 of somebody when he activates.
Okay, when he activates.
So like it's kind of nice. So you could set up like a long move crystal to get back to him. So when he does activate he's getting his power. So it's not like power phase. It's actually
okay. So Black Bolt gets 2 power in the power up phase.
And if he's standing next to him,
if he's standing up and then if he activates, if Lockjaw activates, he gets 3 power. Plus his 1 in the power.
So you're getting 6 power.
So you're getting 6 power.
Yep.
Guys, keep this in mind.
That's the whisper right there. That's 6 power.
That's 6 power.
I mean, you got to get it to them,
but they can legitimately pass this power to anybody they want. So these two are always going to be next to each other because in order to stop, and then you can Lockjaw gives you the ability to just move anybody around within 3.
And even if Lockjaw doesn't know what else to do with his power, he's got that other ability where he can pick an enemy. If you need to get an extract of somebody,
right,
you can pay that 3 power, and it adds an additional dice to that enemy, your pool. So really could knock somebody off the table.
Dude, and the fact that Lockjaw is moving everybody around that's within 3. So people typically he's going to be the target, and with Black Bolt bodyguarding him for 2 or for 1
only
power.
1, yeah.
Now all of a sudden Black Bolt is the target, and he's taking. I mean, he's a straight 7, or he's got 7 life.
Yeah.
But he's taking power, dude. If I'm flipping, I want him to die in round 1. I'm not gonna lie.
Who's that?
I want Black Bolt to flip in. Round 1 because now I got so much power that I'm spending beams, a 4 range beam, 10 dice, on with power 6 power. With the Inhuman reroll, and then literally if I'm bringing in Crimson Dynamo, just to again any kind of person that rerolls. Can I reroll 2 dice with Crimson Dynamo?
No, it's only for you. It's only against enemy characters rolling.
I'm still gonna find.
And we found out that when we played that game that I would have did it anyways because somebody commented on it. But that with Crimson Dynamo, you're supposed to pay before you see the dice. I forgot. I didn't realize that was. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, so that's a combo I think it can work really well. Me personally is keeping Lockjaw because of passing power, you got to be within range 3. So playing up the middle anyway, or along the side, the center lines are still good. But just having those 2 together.
Yeah, and I'm thinking because we were talking about the 2, and I had to even look because I couldn't remember. But there's no restriction on how much power you can pass to the same character. So literally, if you got 5 characters, and if Black Bolt's on his flip side, and you feel like he's pretty safe or something, I mean he can still add dice to his defense. So if he wants to stay alive, he can stay alive. He may not get his whisper off that time, but you're keeping him on the board.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. You add dice defensively if he flips.
Yeah.
Now he's flipped, and
you probably want to save most of his power for the whisper, right?
And he's beaming. I just think that's a good combo. Again, this is theory crafting, dude. We'll have to see how it plays out. What else do you like? What else do you like about any other combo? Excuse me.
Combos? I don't know. I mean, I think you just got to try them out and see if you like them. I mean,
I know, but what do you use all the time? Is what I'm asking.
I mean, it's Black Bolt and Crimson Dynamo. They do my two.
Talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I beat them. That Crystal. I love Crystal. I don't know. Crystal's awesome. I mean,
can Crystal combo with anybody besides Quicksilver? Is there anything that makes her more strong?
On those maps, the beam incinerates. She's just helping. I'm doing that double attack if I don't have power to do the 3 attacks.
Right.
Because if you do the 3 attacks, you got to pick a different attack for each one. You're going to get a push probably. You're going to get incinerate. I mean, she's only rolling 4 dice. She does get the reroll though, so it's really 5. But yeah, incinerating everybody is awesome.
Right. It is.
I mean, another reason why I like Cosmic Ghost Rider, incinerating people.
Right. So cards. I don't have the cards listed on here, but cards that you could think of just off the top of your head that is really good. Terrigen.
Yeah, the Terrigen Mist, or that's not the Mist.
Terrigen.
Yeah, Terrigenesis.
Yeah, what I can't remember what it is.
It only works on civilians. So if somebody pulls the civilians card, if you see Inhumans, you probably don't want to bring, because I'm always going to bring that card.
Right.
Because if you get to pay, I forget how much power, 2 or 3. but you roll 4 dice, and if that person is holding an extract that is a civilian, and you KO them with 4 dice, so I think you get it's your regular triggers, crits, wilds, hits. If you KO them, then you get 2 victory points. It's really good. I mean, really that card's not always going to get played, but it's one of my favorites in the affiliation.
Well, we talk about it all the time, Kurt. If you can score points outside of the game,
it's the same reason you love Punishers. Red, white, and blue, right? Is that what
it's blood red and personal.
Oh yeah, blood red. I'm sounding.
Yeah, and then with interrogate, there's a lot of things. Points that you can score outside the game, outside of the realms of the game, is always good.
You did it today with interrogate. It was awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. So line up. Let's just roll. I mean, we have like a couple minutes left. Let's just think of so if you have a 17 threat, are you going wide? Are you going short? Let's say you pull everything lines up. What are you bringing? What are you bringing?
If it's one of my maps that I get, and then the opponent picks 17.
Yeah, well, let's just at a 20 threat. Give me your 20 threat list, regardless of what it is, and give me your 17 threat list. That's mostly what people are going to play, 20 and 17.
Yeah. All right. So if 20, you're going to bring back Black Bolt.
Yeah, because you need them.
Dynamo. You're going to bring Crystal. What does that bring us up to?
So Crystal. 12? So Dynamo. Yeah, Dynamo's 4.
Yeah. That's 12.
9, and Crystal's 3 is 12. Yeah.
Yep. And then I bring Medusa probably.
Which is 4, which is 16.
16, and then you probably bring Ronin, right?
Ronin. So you're 20. So you're not bringing Lockjaw at all.
I don't like him as much as you do, but I mean, I
like the list. I like what you said. All right,
I mean, because Medusa's doing what Lockjaw is doing, but she's actually doing something else.
She's doing better. She's doing it better. For
one, I get that he brings power. But the problem with him that I haven't got really that I don't love. I understand where he fits in with like the big kitty cat, Malekith. A lot of people like to put him in there.
Right.
But I don't love him in this list as much. I mean, maybe I'll try what you said. During one of our games up at recess, but I'll try doing that one time just to see how it works.
How about 17 low list?
I mean, we'll just delete
taking out Crystal.
No, I don't think
Crystal.
So.
Crystal will be gone.
I mean, I probably Ronin's gone. I probably get rid of Ronin and Crimson Dynamo and go a different route there.
I gotcha.
Let me think about it. Like, I mean, obviously you got to bring Black Bolt, right?
So let me ask you this. So
I think a lot of 3 threats at that point. I'm just gonna bring I'm gonna bring your Crystal, your Miss Marvel, Beast, or Quicksilver. Probably those.
Really?
Probably. Because I feel like at a lower threat level with a 5 threat leader, you're gonna want. I don't want to play super tall.
Right.
I mean, maybe we'll see. If it's my map, maybe tall.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously
maybe
we're obviously guessing it because
what I could do if I was at 17 threat, what I probably would do if it was my map, I would use Black Bolt, Cosmic Ghost Rider, and Crystal,
right.
and
pretend like Cosmic Ghost Rider is not an option.
Well, then I'd just be 2 more 3 threats then.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So, we didn't really touch on this, but what does this list? What counters this list hard? What counters Inhumans, and what does Inhumans counter? You know what I mean? Like, I
think the worst thing that counters is bad secures for them.
I mean, like what affiliation?
I don't know. I mean, I played so many. Like I played Web Warriors recently. They're on a D map and like a diamond shaped map, and it was hard. I mean, I did okay. I was okay, but they pulled out all the tricks, and every time I tried to do something, they got away.
So
they're just like scooching out of the way from like my beams and everything, and like even when I pulled up, like I said, when I pulled off my wisp, I had 2 people. I had Iron Man and what's her name, Ghost Spider lined up. Ghost Spider pulls him out. I'm like, oh man,
right. So it's a hard counter. So anything that has extra movability,
yes,
you're gonna have a hard time with.
Yeah, especially if you're wanting to beam like I want.
Right, exactly.
Like, or like I don't know. I'm thinking of other characters that do that. Like Loki would do that. He would move out of the way.
I'm thinking about your list actually, and you'd have a hard time. I think not your list, but the defenders in general, or not defenders, but Inhumans in general.
Yeah,
I think would have a hard time playing wide. I don't think they play. I get you could play wide, but I don't think they.
It's not their strong suit.
It's not their strong suit at all.
Which is that's something I got to figure out. I got to figure out if I'm going to continue to play these guys.
I just don't think they have it.
Well, I mean, there's enough splat. The thing is that this affiliation Splashball. I know you don't want to get into it, but maybe I just haven't found the right. Maybe somebody can give me some good ideas on if you're an Inhumans player. Let me know how you get around the wider secures.
But I agree with that. I think you have to play this. I think this is a faction you have to play splashed. And we're not going to get into the whole list of the splashing stuff, but I think it is a faction you have to play splashed because I don't think they play the wide list well.
Yeah, and the other thing I did mention too in the splashable thing is that I think you need a 2 in this. I don't know, like I play Toad, but I think you need a 2 just to make certain
things work.
Certain things work, yeah, points wise.
But I also think they counter some stuff really hard. Like I think they play really well in the X-Men.
Oh yeah,
I think they play really well. We did it. I think they play really well in the X-Men. I think they play really well in the lists that are. So I think they play their center points better than a lot of other.
They're probably not going to play so well into stealth lists.
Well, yeah, because
Black Bolt is a range 4. You, especially at the beginning of you don't want to get close. I mean, the point of having a range 4 tag is not to get super close, right?
Right. So let's see. So Avengers, I think they play well into Avengers.
Yeah,
I think they play very well into Avengers. I think Avengers have a little bit more tools that they could go wider, but I don't think they're wide. I don't think their wide characters do enough that is going to stop you from scoring.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Like even their tall characters like Cap and all them stuff that you want to play in the middle. I think that they actually play very well in the Inhumans where they want to play.
Yeah, yeah.
In my personal opinion, like you want these guys to line up. You want these guys to, like you said. I think beaming is great in this and throwing things around.
Mm-hmm.
But like I think anything that's going to play Avengers or A-Force or Guardians or even
yeah, and I don't think they're lacking that much. Like even though they have a limited roster at 8, like Beast throws. So does Medusa. Right. You got pushes with Ronan, and he's got to throw 2 on his 2 attacks. I mean, I don't think that's the problem. I think they could still make things work if the things go your way. I mean,
we're talking about average. We're talking about average.
Yeah, on an average thing, I think they could still got a fighting chance. They're not going to be better than teams that just dominate like the Web Warriors, like we said earlier. Those teams can just get around. And stealth teams are going to be tough for them.
But they also do it better than everybody else does. Yeah. So Web Warriors move better than everybody else does. That's what their stick is. So that's why they're good. X-Men they're a little bit power hungry, and I really can't. For me, X-Men seems to be the trick. The missing. And we're not going to get into the X-Men video, but right now. But X-Men seem to be the elusive. I can't find the combination in X-Men. You know what I mean?
Well, you talk about like Cyclops and Storm's leadership.
Anything. For me, I don't know what they do well, what they don't do, but that's a whole other thing. We're not.
You don't actively play them all the time, and maybe Professor X will
change it. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe we'll see what he brings.
So if and I ask everybody this at the end, if you can have, I know you don't know, you don't follow the Inhumans comic books, but if you have Asmodeus' attention. What do you want them to do to humans that would be on your wish list? What would you like to see?
I forget the characters' names, but there's 2 characters that people always bring up that are in the Inhumans. I don't know their names, but if they could add those 2, I know there's 2 really important characters. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you guys that follow these guys know who they are. I forget what their names are.
But what do you want them to do? What do you want them to? What do you want the character? If you were to add one character,
well, we talked about the one character that I can't think of his name of. I know they said he's a martial artist. That would bring in a stealth character or somebody that does like some of the things that Black Widow and Cat does.
Right.
Would really probably help this faction. That means you can run up and do you don't have to.
Right. Let's say they add Maximus, which is Black Bolt's brother. What do you want him to do besides being a martial artist? Do you want him to be like Zucker or Strucker?
Like something they need. You know what they do need? They probably need Mystic. They don't have any Mystic. I don't think they have any Mystic in this team because as I'm going through
it, just energy and
there's just energy like a Mystic.
Well, there's just because Terrigenesis wasn't. Yeah, Terrigen wasn't. It was. Well, I guess it was. Was energy.
I mean, just give somebody like a little bit of mystic arts. Maybe that's. I mean, that's the only thing they're really lacking. I don't know. I don't even actively try to include mystic in any of my splashes, but I mean, I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of anything super off the top of my mind.
Right.
Only for the fact that I don't know the characters in the comic that well. But I mean,
right.
If I had prepared a little bit better,
no, did you dig
I'm sure I would have had those two. Maybe we could put it in the notes at the end. I can look it up.
If you guys know who they are, I don't really.
There's more than two, but I'm just saying these two there's two that people have mentioned.
If you guys have any, if you're an Inhumans player, an Inhumans fan, tell us who you like. I want to get the, like I said, I would like to have the feedback combinations that you guys run.
Yeah, help me out, because I mean, and I'm sure there's some people that know how to make it work on the D's, B's,
right.
All the other maps.
Yeah, throw
for me, I just, like I said, the reason I do it, beams are fun.
Yeah, but also you like your play style, right? Your play style is.
I'm like attrition. I mean, what's the point of the game? I mean, Web Warriors are fun. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I like running around and like being elusive, but I don't know. The whole point. I love rolling dice.
You just like the fight, man. So, guys, thanks for watching this episode of Dice Club. And honestly, we do love to hear from you guys. Put it in the comments below. Let us know what you think of the faction. Let us know what you like, don't like, what they need, what they don't need, characters that you'd like to see added in, and yeah, that's it. And
but do we ask the folks at home maybe what affiliation they want to see next?
Yeah,
because I said I'm willing to do it. I know the characters pretty well, and I play them the most. But I have all the characters, so I know them all pretty well in and out for the most part. I mean, like I said earlier, if you throw Black Swan at me, I might not be able to quote her card verbatim, but. Let us know what you guys want to see. I mean, Avengers is pretty tired affiliation to talk about, but we can talk about something. Give us something a little under the radar.
What do you want us to break down or whatever? Also, he's getting sick of playing Daredevil.
I am.
So I have one more.
I've lost 3 games to him.
I have one more game of Daredevil, then we'll get some other stuff. We'll go back to playing some other stuff. But guys, Kirk, thanks for coming on. Thanks for bat rapping. We'll definitely, I don't know if this is going to be up before or after our bat rap. But as always, guys, God bless and peace out.